Hey, you guys, thanks for checking us out again. Black Thought Live with your brother Hiram Akeem, sitting down here at the SAC located in Cuyahoga Falls, sweet Cuyahoga Falls, but we still repping that Akron. Listen, we want to tell everybody, man, how much we appreciate you guys for tuning in, getting a little bit of that knowledge you can't get in college like we do here on Black Thought Live. And there's a lot of stuff we need to be talking about, but before we get into all that, we definitely want to remind you guys that we are definitely signing people up for our mentoring program, the Brother to Brother Back to School Mentoring Program. Now, see, what that is we're trying to get a handful of kids, handful of brothers, young men to be exact, and get them together and get them with some positive leadership, some positive guidance, some local brothers from adult brothers from around the community that's going to chip in and participate with this Brother to Brothers Back to School mentoring program. And what we're going to do is teach them better studying habits. That's right, man. We're going to teach them that business always comes before paradise, before you can play with your PlayStation, before you can go out and play ball with your boys, handle your business. And this particular business that we talk about right now regarding back to school is your homework. You know what I'm saying? Is your studying. And we're going to take a little bit more time teaching these young men better studying habits. And we're going to do it in a way to where they can be attracted to it. We're not going to bore them. We're going to have a good time. We got PlayStations, we got Xboxes, we got field trips planned and stuff like that. And if you want to be a part of it, if you're a person that's interested in helping or partaking in what the brothers are doing, you know, hit me up. You know it. You know what it is, mechamedia360@yahoo.com. If you want to be a stop on the tour, because we're going to be taking these young men to some businesses. So we're going to come out to your place of business so they can see the opposite of what, well, not necessarily the opposite, but the other side of what can happen when you're successful in school. Some people believe you go to school to get an education, get an occupation. You get an occupation to help your what? Your financial situation. Well, I believe you can take that same education and help your personal situation by becoming an entrepreneur, by doing the things that you need to do or that you want to do. Because let me tell you, man, ain't nothing like working at a place you cannot stand or you just don't like. Just trying to pay the bills. And a lot of us are in that situation, but you got to have some type of outlet to where you can see freedom looming from around the corner. That's all I'm saying. So, again, we want to remind you guys that we're definitely doing that Brother to Brother Back to School Mentoring Program. We're going to do it for a month, get these guys conditioning, and if it goes great, we might even expand it for 2 months. We're kind of torn, but once a week, we're going to bring them down and we're going to get into their business, figure out what's going on with them, and more importantly, give them the positive utensils and the insight to take them from the 10, 12, 13-year-old and to take them to a better place to where they can utilize what they're being taught. So that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. That's the Brother to Brother Back to School Mentoring Program that me and the brothers are doing. We putting this thing together. And I know some of you guys may be wondering, why is the seat empty? Well, of course, you know, sometimes we have a lot of different guests coming on to give their views on what's happening as far as the current events and stuff like that. And that's why we call the show Black Thought Live with Brother Hiram Akeem. So we got to ask ourselves, sometimes I may see, or why do I see Brother Hiram Akeem by himself? Because most of the time when we have people here, I'm pretty much getting in their thoughts and getting how they see the thing, or how they see it, from what perspective do they see it from. So these type of shows, you know, we take mail, we take email, mechamedia360@yahoo.com, and we answer the questions, and I give my personal black thoughts on the concepts or the thoughts or the subject matter. And it's been some pretty interesting topics that we're going to talk about today. But so every now and then you'll see me here sitting by myself, not physically, physically by myself, but I see you guys here too as well. So that's why the chair is empty. Listen, if you want to get on the show to promote you and your style, give us a call. Email us at mechamedia360@yahoo.com, and we get right back at you. But listen, it has to be something important that you're trying to get across as it pertains to the African-American community. That's what we're all about, man. It's about shedding the light. It ain't got to be deep, but it's got to be about the positive progression of our people. That's what the show is all about, blackthoughtlive.com. But listen, man, I know you guys looking in the back, you're like, okay, I see this nice little pyramid. I don't know if you can zoom in on it. I don't know if you zoom in or not, But the pyramid, it has a subtitle on it. It's called Business Before Paradise. That's my slogan. I'm going to say it again. That's my slogan. I don't make no qualms about it. That's how I live my life. That's what I live my life about. That's how I live my life about, rather. It's about business before paradise. And let me tell you guys what I mean when I say that. Business before paradise is you have to handle your immediate business before you can chill. Let me translate. Before you can play your PlayStation, before you can go out with your boys, before you can even go out with your girls, make sure everything that needs to be handled, paying your bills, going to work, or whatever is done before you do it. This thing goes back way before I put a name on it. I got this principle from the Bible. I did. All the way back into Genesis. God told Adam, if you're a biblical scholar, God told Adam, hey, you got a job to do. What was that job? Cultivate the earth, name the animals, whatever you believe God's job that he handed to Adam, he had a job to do. So I don't want to get all off on what he was really doing, but there's a lot of different theologies of what the job was. So we're going to take the first one that we learned in Sunday school. His job was to name the animals, okay? So he had a job to do. So he handled his business, and God saw, hey, that was a good thing. My man handled his business. I got a gift for him. Guess what his gift was? I'm sure you know. His gift was a queen. God blessed him with a queen because he handled his business. That's in elementary form. When you do something and you put your business in order, everything will work out fine. That's what it's about. Don't put going out to the club, getting your hair done, or buying those Jordans before paying the light bill. It's just simple elementary, and that's what it's about, man. Sometimes we got to do what we got to do to make things, make ends meet, but as long as you keep the principles like business before paradise in the forefront, you can do it. So like let me just elaborate a little bit more, just a little bit real quick. Personally, me, I'll go to work. To me, that's business. I go to work, do my 9 to 5 or whatever it is. Then I'll come home. If there's any chores to be done, that's right, I'm a grown man. If there's any chores to be done, I do it. I cannot go home, take my shoes off, take my clothes off, take a shower like my work is done, and my queen is like looking like, man, your work is not done. Now, some people are satisfied with, oh, man, he did a hard day's work. Now he's at home. He deserves to chill. No, make no mistakes. I work for my house. I work to elevate what I'm doing at the house. So I'm not going to come home and loaf about that. If the grass got to be cut, we're going to get the grass cut. If the light bulb got to be changed, we're going to get the light bulbs changed. If the rug is out of order, I'm going to do that. So when my queen come home, she coming home to a nice spot. But more importantly, I know that I'm living by the principles that the Most High put down. Handle your business first before you relax, because when you relax, you're going to get that big blessing. So that's how I look at it, man, for real. Business before paradise. And when you go to this website, HiramAkeem.com, you'll see a bunch of different black thoughts that I put down in a tangible form or written in a journal style. That way you can get a little bit more of that knowledge you can't get in college, y'all. Listen, we want to remind you guys, man, listen, when it comes to black media in Akron, Ohio, there's no other spot that you can go to as far as the newspaper is concerned, and that's the reporternewspaperonline.com. Listen, we want you guys to subscribe to the tangible form. That's the old school newspaper that you can get at the stores that you see. There's subscriptions. You can check it out online on the website, the reporternewspaperonline.com, and you can see what's going on. Of course, I do business with them. I make the thing happen every week. Is a new publication that comes out online and in the tangible form. So we definitely want to big up and support the people that supporting us, or support the paper that support us. That's Black Media 101 with Hiram Akeem. Speaking about the Reporter newspaper, man, as we was putting it together this week or last week, we came across my man, Cam Newton. Okay, now a lot of people done talked about it. A lot of people done seen. But I noticed a few people is not up on game with what's happening with my man. So I'm going to give you a quick understanding what was going on. Okay, we know last year during last football season who Cam Newton was. He was the undefeated through the whole season now, undefeated, undisputed MVP, physical face of the NFL. Okay, now he was stunting, he was swagging. Every time he get a touchdown, he's smiling, hitting the world with his, what they say, beautiful smile. He giving footballs to kids. Don't matter what color they are or whatever. He was the fun. He was the reason. He was box office, as my man Stephen A. say. He's the reason why a lot of people was paying for those tickets. And I'm telling you, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. But my team, which means my other team, is the Carolina Panthers. So I watch him because he's highly entertaining. But one thing I like about him is he's polished. And last year he was so polished and out there representing our style, our culture, but more importantly, our swag. He was out there doing his thing. But I think he was at a press conference after a game or whatever. But at the end of the day, it was an interview, and they asked him, they said, hey, why do you think everybody hates you? Or why do you think people hate you? Now, this is at a time where he is at the highest of height more than any NFL player in the league. So they asked him, why do you think people hate you? And his answer was simply, because they never seen a black player like me. Now, I'm going to go into detail on what I think that meant when he said, because they never seen a black player like me, which simply means with the physical attributes that he brings to the table, with the athletic attributes that he brings to the table, combined with the personality, the charisma, the smile, the attitude, and the general all-around look, cover boy style, that's what he meant. And he's well-spoken, okay? That's what he meant. They never seen a person like me who swag out like that, who have a good time like that, who represent our culture like that, and at the same time, who's polished. Now, to me, when that question was asked, why do you think certain people don't like you? Or why don't you think people like you? His answer was that. But I think that question meant something else. There was something else under that. That question was asked at a time he was on top of the world. So that means when the question was asked, the question was, why don't people like you? That means somebody didn't like him, or somebody's or specific demographic didn't like him at the time. So let me remind you guys who's a little bit removed from last season, because you're so excited about this season. The pretty much Eurocentric America didn't like this guy for a lot of reasons. I'm going to tell you a few. One is because he's swagging out in the end zone when he get a touchdown. He's smiling. He's hot dogging, as my coach would call it, hot dogging. Just when you get in the touchdown, just get a ball. Some people like that old school traditional mentality, but he comes from a spot where it's not that. He's having a good time. He's smiling. You can't lie that and say that his brother is not having a good time. Okay? Now, when you think about it and think about what he had to endure, once he said that thing that I don't think they ever seen somebody like me, he caught flack. The boy caught hell, okay? Still on the way to the MVP, still on the way to the Super Bowl. Even when he lost the Super Bowl, they said he pouted like a spoiled brat. I say he pouted like the average black person does when they lose on PlayStation or in the basketball court or on football game. We just don't like to lose. So he showed you the raw emotion that we display every day upon losing, okay? Now, that's not a bad thing, but what I'm showing you is, what I am doing for you, I am chronicling what's going on, or the history of what was happening with my man Cam Newton. Now, as of last week, his GQ thing comes out. His GQ interview and layout comes out. And he says, in a nutshell, that we are, as a nation, far removed from racism. Racism is beyond us as a nation. Is that what it said? Yeah. We're beyond race as a nation. Okay. Now, granted, when I heard this, I said, this cannot be real. Not my man, Cam Newton, whom some was hoping was going to be the verbal representation of the voiceless, a la Muhammad Ali, looks, style, and everything. Some people were saying that last year. But then flip the script, 2016, before kickoff in August, he comes out with a statement like that. And I was like, oh my God, please don't let my man be tap dancing, boot licking and butt kissing, you know what I'm saying, shaking and breaking and whatever the people be doing, okay? And come to find out, oh my God, he really is. Cam Newton flipped the script, went from that's who I am with his chest sticking out, blah, 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 to 2016, black folks is getting killed left and right. I'm talking about about the policeman situation. I'm talking about all the situation that permeates our community as a whole right now, from the Corin Gaines to the, I'm not even going to name because it's too many to name, okay? But this guy, whom is my favorite football player, it hurts me to my soul to know, like my man told me, sometimes people got to say things to keep their endorsements. He said a thing, and I guess he is going to keep his endorsements. But, dude, you don't let your people down. Because at the end of the day, you're a role model. Some people think you can't pick your role models for your kids. I'm telling you, I believe you cannot pick your role models for your kids. Role models is somebody your kids picked. They picked them themselves. Like, I relate to that dude. So when you're standing there and you representing a culture or a movement or a style or a swag, and all these inner city kids, along with kids that's not from the inner city, following you because of these attributes and your characteristics, okay? I want to speak like Cam. I want to walk like Cam. I want to swag like Cam. And then you turn around and say, because at the most part, it's our people that was rallying behind you when they was telling you you was not a good look for the NFL when you was being too black, too strong, okay? They were saying that. This is what they were saying. Now you turn around and look at those kids in the face and have the gumption, the intestinal fortitude to say, during these times, during this climate, that, we're beyond race. To me, it's a slap in our face to saying, hey, we're beyond race, and everything that had happened and is going to happen and that is happening right now is water under the bridge, is nothing, because I'm a football player, and the biggest thing that I'm thinking about right now is not what's going on in my own community, knowing this brother's from Atlanta, Georgia. So listen, man, he let me down. Like I said before, he let me down, and he's, I hate to say it, I got to put him on stage with the rest of the tap dancers. I do. I got to put him on stage with the rest of the tap dancers, shucking and jiving, bootlicking and butt kissing for the man to make sure that his money is right, while he ain't thinking about how it of the adverse effects on how it can have for the kids in the community looking up at him. But I must say, I don't know if I'm a root for the brother. I'm just lying. I'm a root for the brother. Get your stuff together, Cam. Listen, man, like I was saying before, man, I also want you guys to pay attention to Mecca Media Entertainment and what we bring into the table. We got the different websites. We got the HiramAkeem.com, the Alexandria360.com, which pretty much focuses on that knowledge you can't get in college. That stuff that you should have learned as a African American, I'm going to say that in quotations, that stuff you should have learned at home, but now we got a full blast on you right there, too. I want to give a shout-out to my whole Cornerstone 59 Lodge with thebrothers.org. We're doing some dynamic things with that, too, but I know y'all seeing my man over my shoulder, National Treasure. I got to be for real, National Treasure. This is Nat Turner. Now, I got to be honest. I'm pretty sure some of you guys don't know who Nat Turner was. In short, I would be less of a man if I didn't tell you who this guy was. So I'm going to give you a quick little synopsis on what this brother bring to the table and what he was. Okay, he was a slave. Okay, he was raised on a plantation, traditional slave plantation. But the thing about this particular brother, he was taught how to read. He was the token preacher, okay? Now, back in those days during slavery, what they would do with the slave master in their arrogance, they would take one pastor or take one slave, train him on how to be a pastor, tell the pastor not to read anything that resembles liberation out of the text, the Bible. So quite naturally, that made him want to read it. That made him want to read some more. So he was getting a lot of knowledge. But let me go back to the fact that they would take this one brother to plantation, stop to stop, on Sunday to speak to every plantation and every slave that's on different plantations. So he was the token pastor, the token priest. Now, of course, the slave master wasn't too far away. He couldn't go too far away because he ain't want no chance of liberation and freedom or hope that the Bible promises. He didn't want the man to say that. He didn't want Nat Turner to speak on any of that, okay? So what did he do? He always stayed on hand, on deck. So you can see that he's always on hand, on deck. I'm talking about the slave master. So while these slaves are outside having church, and Prophet Nat, that's what they called him, Prophet Nat or Nat Turner, was speaking, they had a physical reminder. And he had a physical reminder not to go too far, buddy. Don't take it too black and don't take it too far. And I don't want to hear none of that freedom and liberation stuff, which the Bible says. 2016, we still have Eurocentric depictions of the God or Jesus, well, I like to call the same slave master on the wall of these black churches, looking over the pastor's shoulder, making sure he don't say nothing, or symbolic to that whole scene that I just described, which is crazy that one would even have that. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to the story. So Nat Turner noticed the Exodus story in the Bible, okay? And he, in short, got inspired, and he said, listen, we have to liberate ourselves from this condition and this position, not tippy-toeing, not sneaking underground, but by force. He believed God put this message on him. So what did he do? I'm not going to color code this. This is the reason why you never heard of him in school. What did he do? He had his people mentally conditioned to believe what he was saying was the truth. So one day, Nat Turner revolted. What do revolt mean? To switch the game, to change, to buck wild, to say, hey, we ain't taking this no more. So what did he do? He basically took out any slave owner at his plantation, family and all. I'm not going to color code this thing. And this is the history. He said if they're on you can get them from the cradle to the crutch. That's what he said. I'm just going to leave it at that. He said anybody can get it from the cradle to the crutch. Now, quite naturally, his whole crew that was in the plantation that he was in saw him do the first blow. And that's all is written. That's all that, they needed to see was he was a man that was about his business and put his money where his mouth was, and he handled his business. So some believe he didn't have to kill nobody since then during the whole revolt. He said everybody else participated, and he just watched like a general. That's what was said. But anyway, this movie, which I never thought would ever see the light of day, and I'm sure it's going to be watered down a little bit. First off, let me tell you why I know the story. It was in a book called The Confessions of Nat Turner. Now, I put some little color to it, but it's pretty much just like what I told you. But I never thought this movie was going to see the light of day. I never thought I was going to see this movie hit the big screen. Look at the artwork, man. My man being hung, because that's how he died. They want you to believe he just died being hung. They skinned this brother, then hung him. They were scared of this brother. But it's finally coming out. During this time right now, it was supposed to come out during this time of that America is in this crisis right now with all of what's going on in our community against the cops and stuff like that. So for some reason, I don't know the date. At first, when I realized that, oh my God, they putting this thing out, so we start promoting this thing. Like, they really putting this out. They got their nerves putting this out. So the question is, if I, what did it say? If I was the producer of this movie, whom put his blood, sweat, and tears behind it to bring it forth, so the people who don't know about Nat Turner have to push pause because of the climate right now, would I do it? Oh, man, timing is everything. I mean, first off, Rodney, that's a good question, okay? I got to give my man a shout out, right? That's my man. I got to give a shout out. That's a good question. Would I put it out? Right now, 2016, August, I think that'd be throwing gasoline on the fire. I really do. I think that'd be throwing gasoline on the fire. I would put it out. I would. Now, can you control a wild burning fire? Yes, to a degree. But I believe with that big shock that people will see, I think it'll wake some people up like, oh my God, this is not roots. These people was dealt with in a specific way, and what made them rebel will be chronicled in a way, in an entertainment form, to where you can understand people like Corey Gaines. You know what I'm saying? Corey Gaines. You will have because you don't know the history. So if you see it illustrated on what makes people revolt like that, like the Corey Gaines, or like some people who just, buck wilding when your back is up against the wall and you think that, this is not right, you would do something. You would do something, definitely. And like my man said, what's really crazy is, like on July the 4th, we celebrate America's independence. We celebrate it. We clap. Some of y'all be out there barbecuing, eating your pork chops and barbecue ribs and the piggers and whatever it is you do on the 4th of July, popping fireworks and all. But really, you're celebrating America's independence from Great Britain, okay? From the old land, okay? You celebrating them getting away from their oppressors. That's what you're doing. You celebrate that and you clap it. And you clap and you pop fireworks and you eat barbecue rib, okay? That's what you do. Some of you was drinking and smoking like it's your thing, okay? But you celebrating somebody else's advancement, getting away from their oppressor. Now, when they tell you it's wrong to do that or to think like that or have those thoughts like that, to want to be mentally free to where you ain't tap dancing on the job trying to make sure that your job is secure like Cam Newton, they say that you're wrong. The people that got away from their oppressors is telling you wrong for even thinking that way. So I don't know, man. It's just Black Thoughts, man. That's what this show is all about. Black Thought Live with Brother Hiram Akeem. Listen, if you want to get on the show, first off, give us a call, meccamedia360@yahoo.com. If you want to sit here next to us, give me a call. If you're trying to have your stuff read and us answer it, get at us. You know what it is. Feel me before they kill me. It's the Hiram Akeem Show, y'all.